So, are you a leader that never seems to have enough time for the important stuff because the urgent stuff is always getting in your way? Well, this morning I'm wearing green because I'm going to be talking about thinking and about a problem that a CEO had within their business that was exactly like this. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about their story, and I'm also going to tell you the advice that I told them that worked. But I'm going to be talking about colours, so it's probably best that I tell you a little bit about the colours so you know what on earth I'm talking about. So we've got the 3 green behaviours: thinking, communicating, and improving. Now, those are the things that if you have them in your calendar in the right proportion will take you, your people, and your organisation upwards, make things better, because they are the essence of leading. Then there's the 2 amber behaviours: monitoring and directing. Now, if you have those in your calendar in the right proportion, it's going to keep things in balance, make sure things don't go wrong. It's about managing risk, and they're the essence of managing. Then there's red, doing, productivity, hands-on delivery. And then there's grey, floating. And that's stuff that we're not really sure whether it's adding any value. So it's a bit of a grey area. But then there's, and of course, if you have that or the doing in your calendar, then that can take your business, your organisation, your people, and you backwards, make things worse, because it's taking time away from the green stuff and the amber stuff. There's another really important one, and that's blue. And blue is about living. Living is about looking after your physical, mental, spiritual well-being. And this is about looking after yourself outside of work so that you can bring the best of yourself to work. Really, really important for managers. So, CEO came to a drop-in a number of months ago, and the one thing that they said was their biggest bugbear was they never seem to have enough time to do the important stuff that they know they should do, because they're always busy with the urgent stuff that they feel they must do. And I asked them a very, very simple question, because this is a real challenge. And part of the reason this is happening is because of something called Parkinson's law. You've probably heard about it before, but if you haven't, it basically says that time will expand to fill the space available. And at some point in the past, your calendar will have been empty, but eventually it gets filled up. And the reason it gets filled up is because it's empty. Okay, if there is space there, it will get taken. I want some time with you, take the space. I want this, take the space. And that's what happens. And what we're not doing is we're not being more conscious about filling our space up with the stuff that we know needs to be done, okay, the important stuff. And so then when it comes to the apparently urgent stuff, it just sucks up everything else that's left, okay? So that's what this CEO said. And they said, if you could just give me a little bit of time for that, it would be amazing. And so I said, okay, this is quite easy to sort out. So what's an example of something that you would really, really love to be able to do, have time to do, that you never seem to have time for? And they said, business planning and budgeting for next year. I went, okay, sounds reasonable. And just out of interest, how much time do you think you would really love to have for that, if you could find some time? And they said, oh, if I could just find a couple of hours, just 2 hours to think about that, it would take so much of a load off my mind and actually give me more headspace. And I said, okay, so do me a favor, have a look in your calendar now, and what's the next space, 2 hour space you have in your calendar? And they said, well, there's next week on Thursday. And I went, okay, so what's stopping you from putting that 2 hour space in your calendar now as a meeting with yourself to do that piece of thinking? And they said, well, nothing really, but it's likely to get interrupted. And I went, well, yeah, I mean, we're always going to get interruptions. That's always going to happen. But here's the thing. If you leave that space empty and you get interrupted, chances are you're going to do whatever you're interrupted with, regardless of whether it's really urgent or whether you just tell yourself it's urgent. But if you put that space in your calendar now and you reserve that space now and then you are interrupted, chances are you're going to compare that interruption versus this. And because it's something that you really value, chances are you'll make a different decision. You might still decide to do it, but at least you'll be making that decision in a conscious way. So just try it, see how it goes. They came back the following week and I asked the question, how's it gone? And they went, I've actually spent 2 hours thinking about next year. And they sounded so excited. And this is the point. If you consciously take time to plan in the important stuff, chances are you'll allow less of your time to be taken up on the urgent stuff. It's a really simple tip. It's a key to being a leader in your business, and hence why it's green. Would love to hear what it is you would fill that time with, what you never seem to have time for, and put it in the comments below. If you have any questions, give me a shout. And in the meantime, have a great day, have a great week. It is time to lead.